We've received some phone calls, and we've talked with a couple of community leaders, some chiefs that really wanted to know, how do we structure board environments? How do we make things more beneficial at a community level, more functional at a community level? And so, as I mentioned this, I said that, that we've been involved in a lot of different community environments, and there's a lot of differences between an urban band and a rural band. Like an urban band actually has a lot more partnership venturing. They're a little bit more sophisticated when it comes down to dealing with different organizations and different environments. And the rural communities are a little bit more isolated. And what happens there is that with the discussion that we've had with some of our community leaders is that they wanted to just try and structure board environments that were totally autonomous from what was actually occurring at their community level. And what I mean by autonomous was they wanted to get people from within the urban environment to sit on their boards and structure this board that was going to be totally autonomous from any community involvement, so that there was no signs of conflict that was occurring. And that's important, that's beneficial, but the key thing to understand here when you're doing this is that you cannot take away the control of your own community's destiny and give it to somebody else to be responsible for. As a leadership, you always have to be involved. You can't hide that off and say, okay, that's all about economic development. We don't want nothing to do with this. What happens with having an autonomous board that has no community representation on it is that you could have a board that puts in economic activity that is totally opposed to what your community is all about. So you want to be able to build your own capacity at a community level and make things a lot better for the long-term development. So that means board training, that means all that other stuff that needs to occur with the community members. So I think that having a good complement of urban and rural Aboriginal people or economic development people on a board of directors is important. It's critical. And more importantly, I think that the leadership, the chief and council, have to be the ones who know exactly what's transpiring and what their partnership ventures are about. You can't hive off all that responsibility to somebody else and say, okay, you run all this and you make all this happen, and we're going to sit here and just wait for something to happen. The key thing here is, as the leadership, you need to be aware of what kind of activity is going to occur. Not only that, and that doesn't mean that you have to go get involved and you have to be political with your board of directors and all that, because there are structures that you can implement that will make sure that there's a buffer there between the politics and the economic development. But any community that's really functioning well, it's usually your leadership that brings the ideas and the concepts and says, okay, go work with our economic development board. We know what this is about. We've talked with them, and we're sure that this is a good fit for our community. So it's about having a joint responsibility for economic development. You can't expect other people to come in and make magic happen for you if you're not going to be responsible for your own magic. So, and then when I talk about magic, that's economic development. And so from a community perspective, you got to be there, you got to be involved, and more importantly, that's how you start to build capacity at a community level also. So having a good complement of board members from the urban and rural communities is important. It's critical because it gives you a wider realm of what the possibilities are. So with that, if you do have some problems with some of your board structuring or anything like that, or how do you structure an economic development department, don't be afraid to call us, and we're here to give you a hand up, not a handout, and thank you.